Welcome back to the Lonely Road. It has been a long
Welcome
time.
back.
We're here to join you on your journey to heal and become a better human. And it is one of those times, man, where I know it's heavy on everybody's shoulders, whether it's Men's Mental Health Month and you guys are struggling with all of that stuff, or it's just the holidays and you're struggling because the person that you've relied on your entire life or something isn't there, whether they're alive or dead. That grief is really, really heavy. And I think everybody knows that. Obviously, we covered this last year with KJ's mom and stuff like that, and how big of a part of both of our lives she was. Definitely KJ's more than mine, but this time's heavy for me for that too. And KJ came up with this topic this time, which is reconnecting relationships and mending past relationships and stuff like that. And it's kind of like the other side. So, KJ, how have you been?
Yeah. Hi, Zach. I'm doing okay. I'm about to make a couple leaps as far as reconnecting is concerned, and I kind of just wanted to go over and get your thoughts on some things that I was thinking. And you said something to me at the end of our talk. Not we weren't recording last week when you said this, but you said something at the end of that made me think pretty deep into what I needed to do. So anyway, welcome back everyone to another episode. Thank you for hanging out with us here on on the lonely road. And today, like Zach said, we're talking about something that lives inside. I pretty sure I can venture to say almost every one of us. It's a quiet tug. Not through death, but through distance. I think misunderstandings, life changes, hurt feelings, or simply growing in other directions. And we don't talk about the grief that comes with that enough, in my opinion. We don't talk about grief enough, in my opinion. But the more I talk about it, the more I am processing through it, and it's working. But that's the kind of grief that doesn't get a funeral or a ceremony. And you got to give yourself permission to feel it because it changes us just the same. Um, honestly, you have to make a decision whether if you have a connection that's been severed. Healing doesn't always mean going back, but sometimes reconnecting is about reclaiming that part of yourself that got lost in that fallout, offering clarity and compassion and closure to yourself as well as others. But sometimes you want to reach out. Sometimes it's a thing that you feel called to do, but you're not quite sure how, and you have to be um, ready for that person to respond or even not respond. You have to feel okay with both of those outcomes.
And I think
And
the hardest part is like the question of that, whether to respond to that call that you're feeling or not,
right,
is one of the hardest things ever. Especially if we're talking about times of abuse or struggles or anything like that. Like if these people are positive the entire time in your friendship relationship, whatever it was, then yeah, go ahead. It's okay. But like sometimes there's people on the other side where you feel drawn to them because they're almost like a drug to you. And you're like, "Oh, I need this." And it's you don't. You don't. And it's so hard to figure out which side of that coin you're supposed to look at. It's so hard to figure out exactly where you're supposed to come at this from because each situation is unique and you got to work through it. You can't just impose yourself on an impulse or impose yourself on a thought just because you're like, "Oh fuck, I need this right now." You kind of got to let the reputation of the situation lie.
mhm.
If you're the one that fucked up, then you should always be the first one to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what you said last week that made me really think. And that was, I think, by design. You do these things by design, and you know where I'm going with this, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I really feel like talking about why reconnection matters and how to approach it with emotional maturity is very important, and how to protect your peace in that process. And whether you're thinking about reaching out to someone or grieving the relationship that can't be repaired, either one of those, thanks for being with us while we talk about it today. Uh,
Yeah.
it
And it's heavy. How many times do you end a relationship, regardless of how long it was, and you're like, dude, those feelings, man, those whether it's a family relationship or a marriage or whatever, and you're like, dude, we could get back there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this now, you can't. like when things end, regardless of if it's a friendship, a family relationship, or a marriage or whatever, things will never go back to the way they were. They will always be different, regardless of if you work on them and fix them and everything else. It still's going to be different. And accepting that different is very, very, very hard. But
Very.
to me, the easiest way to figure out what you should do in these situations is, are you the one that caused the pain? If you are, apologizing is for yourself, not for them. Because you have to forgive yourself. If you can't forgive yourself and you can't say, hey, I fucked up without being prompted, then you're not ready to fix it yet. You're
Yep.
not ready for that person to fucking be there, because regardless of if they're a good person or a bad person, you don't know what their response is going to be. You have to be very fucking ready to come to the table and accept what they're going to say.
For sure. For sure. It's definitely a form of growth to be able to look into yourself deeper. Because I always say, like, just to put it in the simplest of terms, I have two grandsons, and as you can imagine, well, they're 1 year apart from each other. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of he hit me, and but you have to stop and think. Okay, yep, he hit you, and I see that you're crying, Jordan. Are you okay? And then I have to ask this kid, but I understand that he hit you in the back, and that's not okay. We're going to talk to him about that. But what happened before that? And so that's one of the big things that I had to ask myself. I mean, in a situation with one of my siblings, I feel like I lashed out to uh, our dad, and he defended my father, so much rightfully so. And I felt really shattered. It was after my mom passed already. And so then I felt like, he had turned his back on me, and, it was that. Well, he had turned his back on me. But what happened before that? What happened before that? I don't remember really hurting him in any other way than when I left. And that affected a lot of people in a lot of ways. It's that ripple effect, So I asked myself what I did. And that was what I did, and holding myself accountable for that first sever is very, very important. And it matters. It
And
matters.
like on the man side of this, and I don't think a lot of people fully grasp this, is when a son is around their father, and like actually around their father, like not their father's a piece of shit and they're just sitting on the couch and they drink a beer and they
Yeah.
don't interact with their kids, but when they're around their dad, like there is a bond that a lot of people don't fully grasp. Like either you have it or you don't.
Right.
And that, like, if anybody talks shit about me, my kids are the first ones to stand by my side and say, let's handle it.
Yep.
Are you feeling froggy, you retard? Because we will leap and they will not think twice.
No, they don't. Nope.
Not because I want them to either, but
No.
because they understand that they respect me to a level that not a lot of people do.
Right.
And they're like, you will respect him with the way that I respect him, because that is what he deserves. He didn't run away and go get a pack of cigarettes. He didn't
No.
run away and go get a gallon of milk.
You're right.
He was there every single fucking day.
Yep.
And I think that's where a lot of people, like, whether it's situations that even my kids have dealt with, where it's like, oh, you're just like your father. Yeah, my father's the greatest thing that's ever come to light.
Right.
Not because I am, but because to them, I'm a fucking hero for some fucking reason. And that
You
sticks.
are their hero. You absolutely are. It absolutely sticks. And it's interesting, the types of relationships that you take inventory in your life at a certain point. And clearly I've been taking inventory,
Yeah.
because I've taken myself after my mom passed. I took myself out of existence, basically. You
Yeah.
know, After I married Sarah, we had a couple times where the family got together, and I was able to do a couple things. But for the most part, I took myself out of Gen Pop, if you will, because I wasn't in control of myself, of my emotions, and I needed to figure out how to do that. And it took quite a few years for me to figure that out because I was figuring it out all on my own. Um, and I mean, the bottom line is, you do have to look inwards when you take inventory of those relationships and find out which ones you want to repair and which ones are not worth repairing because of toxicity. And we've been through those. We had a couple of episodes that broached this topic, and we've both realized that there are some relationships in our life that no, I peacefully wish you well, or not so peacefully wish you well, in some cases. But their family relationships are very, very, very interesting and complicated as far as that's concerned. Um, and old roles or patterns, um, family patterns come into play, and it brings such a toll to the whole situation.
Yeah.
But there are other types of relationships too. You have those friendships that faded during major life changes. You got sick, divorced. You had kids, they didn't, career shifts, those kind of things. And then those, we've talked about romantic relationships, things that we have to move on from, but we have to grieve the past too. It's these are strange connections due to the misunderstandings and the conflict and the emotional immaturity that both people may have had on one side. But in this situation, or you may have to look in every situation, I would recommend that you really look inward and find out
And
the
it goes
root.
back to something that my grandfather taught me when I was little. And it goes back to something my boss said throughout my entire teenage years when I watched his YouTube channel is observe the campfire rule. Every single time you fucking leave a relationship, whether it's friend, family, or a significant other, they need to be at a better place or equal to when you got them when you leave them. And if you can't, you fucking let go completely because it may not be for you, but don't sit there and hold on to somebody because that's not how it should ever fucking be.
Right, right. You don't want to reconnect in loneliness. You want to reconnect for healing. And
Yeah.
if there's not going to be any healing, and it's just fruitlessness, or a relationship that's severed beyond repair for whatever reasons, it's interesting. I mean, it's very important that when the person is safe, awesome, or when the person is emotionally capable of even having this conversation. But
Yep.
more so, you have to be emotionally capable.
Yeah. And that's why the first thing I said to you last week, and I'm not trying to tread on your conversation. So if I go too far, say it. It's okay. Um, that's why I think the first question is always, am I the fucking asshole in this? And if I am the asshole, can I accept any fucking answer that they're going to give me?
Yeah.
Because if I can't, like, if I can't hear about how I was a piece of shit here, here, and here, then I'm sorry, and I'm sorry from a distance, and my door is open, and I will apologize the second that they're capable of handling that apology.
Right. Okay. Yep. That makes sense. You really have to ask, what outcome am I hoping for? But also, am I ready for whatever response I might get? And then am I ready to be patient until that person may or may not come around?
Yeah, and that's why I think I remember arguing a couple times about like a whole bunch of Alcoholic Anonymous things and NA things, and when I've talked to people that work in rehab facilities and stuff like that on a couple podcasts I did, I tell them straight out that I disagree with like the religious overtones of like make it you have to make everything right for them, and it's not right for them. It never will be. You did them wrong, or you fucked it up, or they fucked it up, and you're trying to make yourself feel valuable, regardless of like who you're trying to reintroduce yourself to or bring yourself back around. So making that equal automatically at the beginning is the main part of it. So running around and apologizing just because somebody tells you you should is never how you fucking handle it.
No.
Seeing that you hurt people is the first step you should do.
Yeah.
Not because somebody tells you you're a piece of shit for this and this. Like you're not apologizing for any reason at that point. If
No. That's
if
all
you're
part of the emotional
apologizing,
prep work.
Yeah, if you're apologizing, there needs to be a reason for it. There needs to be a call through for it, and there needs to be a standing on it that you accept that you did wrong.
Yeah, for sure. You have to reflect on your own role. And at the same time as you're reflecting on that own role, you cannot um, shame yourself.
Yeah,
You've hopefully gotten past that part, because shame has to come in at some point, in order to be able to understand that you've done wrong, and feel like the reconnecting um, needs to happen or not happen.
yeah,
But realizing where your part in that lies, and um, I think that I was so hurt from the sever of connection in a lot of in this case, with my brother, that um, I wasn't able to go further back and realize where I was I was the problem, you know, and understanding, looping back to the relationship between father and son, it makes all the sense in the world, and it opens up a whole new light for me, honestly, because he had that relationship with my dad.
mhm,
I didn't, obviously. I'm a daughter, but he had that relationship with him. And it's
yeah.
not like my dad wasn't there for me. He was growing up. I can't remember a time when he wasn't there. Um, but we just didn't have the connection. We didn't connect like they did, you know,
Yeah,
and that's
no, and
okay.
there's always going to be that person in your family,
Yeah.
and that light pops off regardless. And sometimes it's because somebody's villainized them. Sometimes it's because somebody stands by their side and then they show the fucking light that they are, and then everybody clings to it. And there's so many different like little nuances there that it's kind of hard to grasp. It's kind of hard to understand if you don't want to see it. But even then, like sometimes the reasons that you don't have those relationships that you crave or that you want is just because of hurt feelings at some point. Even if it's like stupid 11-year-old Zach or Karen who gets their fucking butt hurt. Like I remember when I went over to my grandfather's after I dyed my hair for the first time. And
Uh-huh.
I was a little punk retard
I
who
remember.
dyed his hair every single fucking color he wanted and dyed my entire head blue. And it was like, okay, this is going to be a thing now. Whatever. It is what it is. And it was fucking, funnily enough, the same exact color that my daughter's hair is currently and bright fucking blue. And my grandpa's like, yeah, you're looking like a punk. You're probably not going to amount to anything and everything else. And that fucking hurt.
I bet.
And it changes things. It changes the way that you're able to perceive them until you're able to fucking realize that, hey, maybe what they're trying to tell you is don't fucking, just because of one choice, go down the path of all of the choices that guarantee this outcome.
Right.
And it's like, just because somebody says something doesn't mean that they fucking think negatively of you. They just want you to see the world like they don't want you to fucking hurt.
No, yeah. I mean, the delivery could have very well been different to an 11-year-old kid, and then the 11-year-old kid may have heard it differently, and actually, heard it at that time. But instead, the resentment happened right then, the hurt happened, and you had to wait a few years before you could really grasp that concept. Yeah, I can understand that.
And it's so hard to actually grasp. It's so hard to actually understand until you're at that point where you fucking get it. Either you get it and you're able to like become nuanced and understand that, hey, there's more context to these things. And as you become older and as you look back, if you're actually able to look back, some people like either get disgusted with other people or disgusted with themselves, that they realize that not everybody is out to fucking hurt you. It seems like everybody has
Right.
that like 50-50 of like either everybody is out to hurt me or everyone is out to like praise me and I am the main character and it's okay.
Mhm.
And when you fully decompress and you understand that, hey, just because words are mean doesn't mean that they had mean intent. And it's like, wait, whoa, what the fuck is this? Like, and my ex used to fucking hate that I talk to everybody with the same care, energy. Like, I will still say fuck around my grandparents, around everybody.
Huh.
I do not change how I speak. I do not change even the framing of how I speak. I speak the same way to my kids. I speak the same way to my mom. I speak the same way to KJ. I speak the same way to everybody because then there is no questions about how much I respect somebody. It is all the same until you change it. If you want to put like some personality or intent on something I'm saying, that is completely and entirely on you. Because I always, every single thing that I say, I'm trying to give everybody the best information, the best outcome that I possibly can give them, regardless. That is my intent always. I am family therapist 101 for some reason. No idea when I got that title, but that's what I've come to. So I just try and do everything I can to show everybody the best light I possibly can, regardless of how harsh or, blunt that is sometimes. Sometimes
True,
people need to hear
true,
it
and
that
at the
way.
same yeah, at the same time, after the message is delivered, that you also sometimes need to take responsibility for how that felt to that
Yep.
person. You know what I mean? And so it all comes full circle, and that's okay.
Yep.
Sometimes in order to get somebody to see something, you have to be a little harsh.
Yeah, you got a
And
gut check from now and then.
yeah, yeah, and in my specific case, that was not a time in my life where I was ready for that for a gut check.
Yep.
I needed support, and I was off the rails, to be honest with you. So coming back to sitting with that discomfort and that vulnerability, knowing that my intent wasn't to be off the rails, but the fact remains, the reality of the
You
situation
were.
was I was, you know,
And in those times, it's really hard, especially when you weren't taught boundaries,
yeah, I didn't
where
learn.
those boundaries actually are. Like I was having this conversation with my sister, and she's like, "Well, I don't know what the fuck to do." I said, "Well, would you have this situation happen?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "You wouldn't have your kid sitting on your mom's lap when she's smoking a cigarette." We don't have to speak through that boundary. It's okay to have that boundary regardless. It should be, you should have known, stupid. That's the line. Everybody should know that that's unacceptable, and that's okay for that to be an unspoken thing. But those are boundaries. If you do this, fuck you. You do not pass go. You do not collect $200. You go to jail. Like it is what it is. But in times of chaos, it is hard to actually perceive what those boundaries actually are and that you're still going to be held accountable for being an asshole when you can't fucking perceive boundaries. The boundaries don't change because my fifis are hurt today,
Right,
regardless of how much my fifis are hurt.
right, right. So part of the emotional prep work that we've been talking about is actually creating a realistic expectation. So that's where I'm, at right now is I'm trying to get myself ready for the outcomes either way. You know what I mean? I mean, there was a time a couple years ago where we reconnected for, a family event, my dad's memorial. Um, and, as is that's the time when people that, go stray away, reconnect. And it was nice to be, invited and to, be accepted at his home. And it was so I'm trying to create a realistic expectation that making sure that I remember that reconciliation, if it's going to happen at all, is a process, not just a moment that is in the fairy tales. You know what I mean? And then making sure to follow practical steps in order to reconnect.
Yeah.
What kind of practical steps would you su- suggest to people?
Okay.
Not necessarily
So,
me, but people.
no, no. It seems not as unique as you think it would be. And I don't have any of this stuff written down. So if some of it doesn't fucking fully make sense, tell me. I'll explain it a little more. I do it so much better going off the top of my head instead of writing everything down because ADHD mixes up all these words on my fucking screen and
Sure.
then dyslexia gets bad. So, my first step with whether it was you, whether it was my mom, whether it was Katie, whether like I've lost everybody and reconnected and lost everybody and reconnected and learned how to have boundaries and everything so many fucking times that it's fucking chaos some points. But you have to show people how to treat you. And if you don't, you're going to crash. my first thing is never fucking expect anything back from this person. Is it's okay. Their life does not include you.
Yeah.
They may or may not want it to. I'm finding out that slowly, and I thought that I thought I was weird for this. Most people do not live life in absolution. It's not everybody's hurt me in the past is the fucking devil will be rotting in hell and should die in Minecraft. Most people do not think 50% of the world should die in Minecraft and 50% of the world is going to be angels and they are going to do everything that I expect them to. It seems like a lot of people are more like me, where it's like there's 4 or 5 people that their Minecraft count should end, and everybody else is like in this gray non-Newtonian state, and there's like 10 people that I praise endlessly because they've done things right and I care and everything else, and I make and add more people to that on a daily basis. I think more people are more like that. So like when you think about it, you not being included in their life does not mean that you are the devil. It's okay. They're not including you in your life. That doesn't mean that you deserve to be accepted. Don't demand or expect respect, care, kindness. You don't you don't deserve that anymore. You put yourself in a place where you fucked up. If you're the one that fucked up. And number 2, if you're not the one who fucked up, don't fucking go looking for an apology.
Right. Right.
Because if you're not the one that fucked up and you're just looking for this person back, they're not ready to fucking apologize. They might not even know they need to. But if you come and say, "Hey, apologize to me," or "You're going to hear me out," you don't know if that apology is real.
No. No, no, no. It's not
And
about
that's the hardest
demanding,
part.
yeah. And it's not about demanding at all. People have their boundaries and they have their boundaries for their reasons.
Yep.
It's not for me to understand in all cases or any cases. But, I was thinking, you always have to kind of keep boundaries, whether it be yours and specifically theirs, if you've wronged them in mind. Starting small is always good. Um,
Yep.
Being clear, calm, and honest, and acknowledging the distance, and owning your own part, inviting conversation rather than demanding it, like you said. You can't
Yeah.
go into a situation demanding conversation. It's counterproductive,
And
and
throwing that apology, if you want it and you're going to do it and you know that, hey, this is the right thing to do, and you're not just searching for validation, you're not searching for acceptance, you want to do this because you miss this person added to your life and you fucked up and you realize you fucked up and you don't want to hurt somebody that mattered.
mm,
Don't expect an answer.
yeah.
It's okay. Like, it is what it is.
Mhm.
You know how much this person meant to you. Show them that they meant that and show them that you apologize and give. And that's the second part of this to me, is give them the same energy that you did when things were okay, to show them that, hey, you realized you fucked up. It wasn't on them. I gaslit myself into fucking thinking that it was. I was the asshole, not you. And I stood my ground and I stood 10 toes down. You have to show up more than what you did when you fucked up.
In fact, if they want that reunion, that might
Yeah, but I'm
be a
saying,
hard
like,
stop.
in your apology, you should show up more and show that you care more than your loud screaming hissy fit that fucked things
Oh,
up.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
You don't want this to be like, "I'm sorry," when you went on a fucking 3-day rant screaming in their face and being violent.
No.
Like, those two things are not equal. You have to equal the fucking pain that you caused with the acceptance of, "I fucked up." And those words can be meaningless to some people, but they will be the only reason that you get to have that conversation with that person ever.
Sure, sure. Sometimes, it's a really a a fine line, though. I mean, you have to acknowledge the distance and acknowledge the event without over explaining it,
Yep. And
unless
not
it's
I'm sorry,
invited.
but you did this.
No, no, no
It's I'm
buts.
sorry for this.
Period.
This is why I'm sorry. I love you. I need you around and I feel like I want that connection again and I'm willing to take the effort to apologize for everything I did.
Sure. Whether I know
Especially in
about
like
it or not.
yes.
Yeah.
Like when me and my mom sat here and walked into fixing it. I did not want to fix it to the point where it's just like, oh, you're fucking grandma who comes up on holidays and sends a $20 fucking gift card. I didn't fucking want that. I wasn't interested. Like, you're either fully in or you're fully out, and I'm not gonna play the in between game. You're my mom. We're either going to have this conversation or we're not. And I want everything to be able to be on the table and accept that, hey, things might not be the way you perceived it because you explained it to yourself to make yourself okay.
Mhm. Everybody
And
needs
if you,
to be able to own their own part,
yeah,
but also without self attacking or deprivation.
exactly. Like and I know most people aren't this way. So, like, I get that only part of the audience is going to be able to understand this. I'm willing to show my fucking scars. I'm willing to show the points where somebody hurt so way they can grow and be better for somebody else. Understand that that is your job as a human. Your job is to be the campfire rule and hope that everybody else around you observes the same thing. It's okay for sometimes that not to happen. That doesn't mean somebody's evil. Stop assuming everybody's intentions are to fucking hurt you because that makes you egotistical, selfish, and a douchebag. Just because you assume that somebody's trying to fucking hurt you doesn't mean somebody is. It just doesn't.
Yeah, those things come from things well within yourself, but I think that when you connect the dots, and there's two or three in the middle that don't connect, and you trying to connect those with they're getting together on holidays because they want to hurt me. They're getting together on vacations because they want to hurt me. That's not the case at all. I'm just not included in their life. I haven't been, and that's okay. And so it's 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 okay if it the connection, whatever the reconnection or not looks like. Um, and I at this point I feel like I'm okay with whatever as long as I apologize for my part. I just need
Yep.
peace where that's concerned. I need some kind of, if it's closure, it's closure. And I believe that if it's closure on that chapter of our relationship, then awesome. But if it's closure, period, on the relationship, then that's also what it is. And that's okay. It's been years. So I am okay with the fact that it might simply give me peace, even if the relationship doesn't return anywhere near what it was. Because, like you said before, you can't step into that feeling again with that person. That doesn't exist because things are severed, and that's got to be okay if you
And
choose to
that's
move forward.
and that's not saying that it can never be equal to what it was,
Mm.
but understand it will be different.
Yeah,
You're not walking back into the same room with the same shine that you had before. You're coming you're coming at your lowest point. You're coming at like a standing of like, "Oh my god, I got to slowly walk back into this," or even let them lead on the speed. But
yeah,
you
oh,
have to show
absolutely.
up
Hmm.
when and that's the third thing to me is show up more often than what is expected because you're proving yourself. You're proving that you want this. If this person is impactful to that level and it's not just some fucking dude you talk to at Walmart and says, "Oh my god, you like you need to show up."
Yeah, absolutely, because that's what I didn't do. I mean, with you and him specifically, you're only a couple years apart. With you and him specifically, I left and I did nothing, very, very little to foster those relationships outside of speaking to your mom.
Mhm.
And I came home every 6 months or whatever, and that was the time that we had. I didn't do what I needed to do from afar to foster the relationship with you and foster the relationship with him that I should have. Uh, and
And it's hard when you're put in a light where it's like that that may be entirely how you feel, but it may not be sustainable for what you need to do in your life or with your choices at all. Like in my case, I can't speak for him. I love him to death and I haven't heard from him in a while and I'd love to chat, regardless of you guys fixing it, not fixing it,
for
not my
sure.
business. But like you were put in my space as a mom.
Yeah.
You were put in my space as somebody who is equal to mom. After I lost the other person that was equal to mom before that.
Yeah.
So it's like it changes your aspect of like who's actually showing up
Yeah.
because you're being told, okay, this person's showing up. When like, yeah, the milk was gotten, the shoes were sent, but it's like the person that's supposed to be here isn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same exact cause that like kids with runaway dads or kids with run like the people that's supposed to be there fucking isn't there. And like that abandonment doesn't go away quickly.
No.
And it's hard to repair.
Yep.
That's why I say the things that I say because it's like I didn't have a dad that fixed it. I had the option to fix it. You want to know what I did? I threw a fucking 2 liter bottle of soda through his front plate glass window.
Apropos. Apropos.
I'm no, it's past the statute of limitations. Fuck yourself. Um, I started talking about the abuse that he did to the point where he drove fucking metal stakes through his door because he was afraid the police were going to come get him. So obviously somebody feels guilt.
Yeah.
But at some point, like I think that that's what it is like, especially with people that didn't have somebody show up for them, especially ever, you have to show them that you are going to show up. And I'm sorry for not.
Right. Yep.
How can I show up? It's not just showing up with $20 for gas. It's how can I equal what I was supposed to do? I want to be in this place. This place matters.
Yep. It's importance. And in that case, when it's reciprocated to any point, it might be a slow rebuild.
Yeah.
It might be a full reunion.
And do not expect it to be reciprocal.
Yeah.
You're making it up. Like it doesn't, that line's drawn. You said, hey, there was a problem. Let me fix it. I'm here to not only have the conversations, but if you need something, ask. And I'm here. And I'm not going to beat you over the head with it. Like, this is because I want to be here, not because I'm needed.
Yeah. I mean, he may um allow me to contact him and have discussions. He may not be there. It's may not be safe for him, or he may not feel like it's safe for his children based on the person that I showed him, and I
Yeah.
have to be okay with that. It hurts, but I have to be okay with it.
Yeah. A lot of that time,
Yeah.
a lot of that time, it showed struggles for all of us.
Yeah.
Like the end of those teenage years for me showed a lot. And then it doubled down and it caused issues. But like accepting those faults and accepting those points are some of the biggest things as humans you can do,
Yeah.
regardless of if it mends your relationship with him or not.
For sure.
It's some of those things that can fix you as a human
I
because it shows you the tools that you didn't have before. Hey, forgive myself. I accept it. I fucked up. Change it from now because you still got how many fucking years left?
Yep, and that's the point. Like I was telling you last week, I went to lunch with my stepmom. I took her out to lunch, and we were talking about reconnecting. And she's done a lot since my dad passed too. And she mentioned it to me that that the reconnection that she's made, and it's impressive.
Yeah.
at, and I think that in her own way, she may have been telling me that, you know, life's life's
Somebody's
too,
looking.
life's too short.
Yep.
She might have been. You know, who knows? I don't know.
And no, I think that's entirely what it is. And as you get older, and I haven't even fucking gotten old yet. I don't know why I talk like I'm fucking 50.
You
I'm
are an
fucking 31.
old man, Zachary.
I'm fucking 31. And like, I don't think I fully realize that because my kids tell me I'm old all the fucking time. Meanwhile, when my mom turned 30, I was 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Young. Young
Fuck.
parents. Yep.
But like, as a whole, I think when you realize that life is futile and it could fucking end tomorrow at any point in time, there's also the opposite that's true. You could fucking throw away everything that you fucking done because it's fucking meaningless and start over. Because guess what? I haven't done it right.
Right.
It doesn't
Scrap it
matter if you're
all.
45. It doesn't matter if you're 50. It doesn't matter if you're 60. I'm not tired yet. Re fucking start and do it right this time.
Throw it
And if
away
you
and
didn't
look
do
at
it
it.
right, if you didn't do it right last time, fuck it, fix it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Accept that you did it wrong. Start again, dipshit. Like it's okay. Go again.
It's important. It's important to be able to say, yeah, I did that shit. Yeah, I acted that way. No, I'm not proud of it, but I'm going to tell you that I did it. I'm going to fucking own it. And if owning it leads to, you know, a relationship with my brother, great. But if it doesn't, then at least I know that I've done the work inside to be able to look deeper inside myself and be like, bitch, you left him in his formative years. No wonder he
Yeah.
turned his back on you so quickly
Yeah.
in
Because
either circumstance.
the feelings that you felt in that situation are not what he felt. You
Right.
could fucking love him like a son. You could love me like a son. But that distance that you forced, that distance that was portrayed to us, showcases that you're not caring in the same way that we're being told you do, or even the way that you feel. So now we're at a such a disparity in like how that pays off to everybody in the situation
Yeah.
that it's damn near impossible to actually realize and articulate and feel. I don't know, guys. At some point, you get joined on the lonely road. At some point, it'll be okay because every day is work.
Yeah.
Life doesn't go until you're fucking happy, especially if you're struggling. Happy is not the answer. Comfort is. And how you find comfort is making sure that every fucking T is crossed, every I is dotted, and you're being heard and understood the way that you need to be, not how you're saying it, not what you're saying. Say your feelings and say the things that are behind them and explain yourself, even if you're fucking explaining it to a wall, because at least at some point, the person on the other side understands where you're coming from. And it's okay to want that reconciliation. It's okay to accept somebody back in your life, whether they hurt you or you hurt them. But guess what? Fucking show up for them because at some point, they fucking needed you and you might not have been there. Pick up the phone and call because at some point they might not be able to answer the fucking phone and you may be calling a fucking answering machine hoping somebody fucking answers it.
Yeah. It's true.
It's a
Very true.
lonely road.
Thanks for joining
Keep
us.
walking.